Hello, and welcome to episode 45 of Missed Mando, Ontario's source for the latest in the disc golf world. I'm your host, Robbie Holden, joined, as always, by my friend and co-host, Sean Galbraith. Shawnee G, how you doing, and what you been up to since our last episode? It's been a busy couple weeks.
Doing, of course, fantastic. It has been a busy couple weeks. Man, 2 weeks ago, which feels like forever ago, I was out at the Flying Ferguson Forest Fall Foray 4 out in Kemptville. Had a lot of fun. I placed 14th, which was fine for me. I played a tick, like one stroke above my rating on average, which was nice. Really liked that course. The woods part of that course is super fun and a really great addition. I guess that was a few years ago now. Had a blast. I think, did you do well there? I don't remember. I think,
Yeah, I did do pretty well, but we will get to that in the recap coming up. You might hear a little bit about me if that's a bit of a spoiler.
And then last weekend, man, it was Canadian Nationals, the 2025 Canadian Championship. And I didn't play it. I was the volunteer coordinator for the event. I was herding the cats. Our volunteer team was incredible across 4 courses, putting in long days and long hours. And man, we got so many compliments for our volunteer staff, and the event really wouldn't have been as successful as it was without them. So huge shout out to my people out there spotting and running around and showing up early and staying late. Like it was amazing and huge success. And there's going to be some big shoes to fill for next year. How would you? What have you been up to?
Huge shout out to you and the entire volunteer team, Shawnee G. It was incredible out at Canadian Nationals. And that was obviously something that I've been up to in the last 2 weeks since we last recorded. Canadian Nationals have come and gone. Did not play my greatest, although I did in round 2 shoot by far my best ever round at Hope Goat from the gold tees, a +5, which realistically should have only been a +3 because on the 18th hole, I had an omen in my hand. For anyone familiar with Hope Goat, I'm on the rock wall, standstill forehand to the green, and I've got an omen in my hand. And then I think, you know what? I don't think I got the power to really juice this. Let's go synapse. And I juiced it. I went OB long and then missed the comeback putt. If I had just stayed with that omen, I probably would have parked it for the birdie. Only birdie I would have ever gotten on 18, I believe. I don't think I've birdied it before. But either way, the +5 was still my best round ever at Hope Goat from the Golds. 970 rated. Made me feel much better after my performance at the Rip last year, where I got absolutely murdered by that course. I think I shot like a +17 and a +18 in 2 rounds before DNFing. So much better this year, although the overall tournament didn't go as planned. It was still a lot of fun. Lucky enough, we were out there early. We got there on Wednesday. Keep your eyes out for a little Missed Mando versus Chain Out podcast doubles battle coming to your YouTube feeds sometime. I don't know. We don't know when that's going to happen. But it was filmed, and it was a great 9-hole battle. It went down to the wire, but you're going to have to wait and see when that comes out who officially took it down. We also hosted on Wednesday evening the Elaine King Clinic out at Hope Goat, which was a lot of fun. Shawnee G had me do the intro for her, which, as I usually do for our interview intros, always bring in the hype. And then I was also fortunate enough that the tournament team also had me present Elaine with a trophy for her enduring impact on the sport of disc golf, which was really cool. She didn't seem like she was expecting that. And it was really cool to see her reaction attraction for all of that. And then, of course, just hanging out with everybody through the whole weekend at Nationals. So much fun. I ate probably like 5 different grilled cheeses at Hokote over my time there, which the Hokote goat cheese grilled cheese, it's to die for. So good. But yeah, also Kemptville the weekend before was a lot of fun. Like I said, I'll get into the recap of that. But the tournament was on Saturday. And then on Sunday, Shawnee G and I took a little trip out to Montreal in Quebec, and we went to the room where it happens and saw Hamilton on stage. My first time seeing Hamilton on stage. I've seen it and listened to it a whole bunch of times, but I've never seen it live. It was my first time. I believe Sean's 4th time seeing it live, and it was incredible. It was everything I had hoped for, and then on the Tuesday after that, I think, and I saw Hamilton in theaters because it was at a limited release. So I just can't get enough. And ever since then, even all through Nationals weekend, I had like Anna Olin was coming up to me and asking, "Is this going to be the course where it happens, Robbie?" Trying to reference Hamilton, and Sean was messaging me up with lyrics talking about Thomas Gilbert and saying, "You simply must meet Thomas." So I've just had Hamilton lyrics stuck in my head for like 2 weeks straight, but there's worse things to get stuck in your head. But anyways, I digress. That has been a lot. We've been up to a lot over the last 2 weeks, but let's get into this episode. And we've got a lot to cover in the show as well. We're going to do a full breakdown of everything that happened out at Nationals. But first, we are going to send it over to our feature interview for this episode. And we are very excited to welcome, fresh off of his win at the Canadian National Championships, we've got MPO champion Ryan Monn joining us on the show. And we will be right back on Missed Mando.
Our next guest is one of the rising stars in professional disc golf. He first joined the PDGA back in 2020, and by 2021, he was fully in the local tournament scene, playing in 27 events and winning 8 of them. He has now racked up more than 50 career wins across a bunch of divisions, and last year pulled off the incredible by winning the Am Slam. This year, he has left the AM world behind and accepted his first cash in MPO. Most recently, he joined us at the 2025 Canadian Championships and took down the win in an exciting playoff. We are thrilled to have him on Missed Mando, the pride of Simpsonville, South Carolina. It is Ryan Monn. Ryan, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. That was an excellent intro. I appreciate all the love you gave me.
No problem. We pride ourselves on our intros here on the show. The rest of it, variable quality, but our intros are usually solid.
Okay.
As we like to do with all of our first-time guests, let's go back to the start of your disc golf journey. I know you joined the PDGA in 2020 and played 3 junior events that year. Who or what and when did you first get introduced to the sport, and were you hooked immediately?
So not technically. My brother Jake Monn, who I would assume most of you guys know, he started playing around 2017 with my other brother, who is now just graduated from Clemson, who used to play Clemson disc golf at Clemson and competed in some college events actually. But they started playing around 2017. I was about 10 years old then, so I really had no interest in disc golf at that point. But then around 2020, my best friend in my neighborhood was throwing around this DX Beast just around the neighborhood, and he was like, "Yo, we're gonna go play disc golf later. You want to go?" And I was like, "Dude, I have so many discs in my garage, so yeah, we can definitely go."
That is awesome. If you ever play a league and a guy shows up with like a bag of like a shopping bag, and in one of those discs is a DX Beast, that guy's going to take your money almost every time.
And you're either in for the best partner of your life or probably the worst partner of your life. For the XP, you don't know what to expect there.
It's so true. I remember a couple years ago at MVP Open, I'm on staff there, and Paul Macbeth came to do a practice round, and he gets to his discs were in a plastic shopping bag, and I was like, "Oh, he came to play." Watch out.
Probably shot like a 12 under that round or something.
Yeah, I know. No kidding. None of them was a beast, though, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well,
damn sponsorship deals.
Yeah, I probably can't do that. Discraft wouldn't like that.
Yes, they wipe the stamp and write Discraft with a Sharpie on it.
Yeah, writes like writes Pro D Avenger or something. He's good to go.
Last year, as we mentioned, you were the first, I think, ever player to record the Am Slam. That is winning the U.S. Amateur Disc Golf Championships, Junior Worlds, and Am Worlds in the same year. Was that a goal of yours, like going into the start of the season, or did it just like, obviously you want to win every event, but were you thinking, oh, the Am Slam specifically?
Yes, I was the first to win them all in 1 year. I know David Wiggins and Anthony Varela have both won all those events just in separate years. They both won US AGC and Am Worlds in the same year, but they got their Junior Worlds titles earlier in their career. So yeah, it was I definitely wanted to do it. I was talking with my brother Jake about the AM majors, and he said if you play well or win AM Nats, you should just drop out of the other two and go pro right then. But after I won AM Nats, I kind of won it in a way where I didn't feel good about winning it. Obviously, I felt good about winning it. I should say that, but I feel like I didn't win it. I felt like I was handed it to me, or some things like that. You know, that was kind of getting thrown around. So then I went to Junior Worlds, and I ended up winning by 11. I had a 10-stroke lead after 3 rounds. I'm sorry, 7-stroke lead after 3 rounds, a 10-stroke lead after 4, and a 13-stroke lead after 5. And then I was like, oh, that's great, but these are just people under 18. This is not the best players in the world. So I go over to Am Worlds, and after the first round, I'm like down 2 or something, or 3, and then I end up going into the final 18 holes with a 9-stroke lead after my highest rated round in round 4, which if Stat Mando is listening, I would love them to look at highest rated round in Am Worlds history, because I think I have it. It was round 4 of 2024 M World. It was a 1079 rated 15 under at the course. So that's got to be up there with the highest rated M Worlds rounds. So
where was that? Which course was that on?
It was at Johnson Park. It was a par 54 course. I'm unsure why we played it for a major. I didn't.
Seems short.
Yeah, it was like below 6,000 feet. I mean.
Oh.
It was insane. I don't understand why we played it. There was other courses that were better, in my opinion, in the Grand Rapids area that we didn't play, but definitely helped me out with winning that tournament for sure, though.
How did you? Obviously, you rose to the pressure of that, but when you were like coming into that final round, were you thinking like was the slam like actively in your brain at that time, or were you sort of really able to sort of get in the moment and focus on, the shot at hand and not have the intrusive thoughts of, oh, I might get this. Oh, I might get this.
That was definitely in my brain during like round 2 and 3 maybe, but during round 4 and 5, probably not. But the biggest thought going into the final round, me and Evan Scott, who's one of my better friends, he's also from South Carolina and previous Am World champion. We're talking about this recently, where he had a 6-stroke lead going into his final 9, and I had a 9-stroke lead going into my final 18. So where those leads are big enough to where you should do it, but they're also small enough to where you could choke it away. So it's a lot of pressure, and that was more on my mind is, dude, you have 9 strokes. This would be a colossal collapse if you happen to lose this one. So, I mean, it got down to
that guy.
Yeah, I think it got down to 5 strokes at one point through 7 holes, maybe it was 6 through 7 holes or something like that. But I ended up just birdieing 8 and 9, and the guy behind me ended up going bogey par on those. So then I kind of just coasted my way to the finish line, and then I looked at it after. If I shot, I think I had to shoot 1 over to lose the event. So,
are you at that point? Are you looking at scores to thinking like, okay, I'm just going to treat this like match play, basically?
Definitely on the back 9 for sure. The front 9, I was kind of keeping a mental score in my head of where my other card mates were or when I was, but the guy that actually ended up getting second was on Chase card, and he put up a nice round from chase card. So I was definitely watching that towards the end of the round. Like after I finished hole 11, which was the hardest hole in the course, I got a par on it. I was definitely looking at it. I'm like, all right, just give me like 2 birdies and I pretty much win the thing. So I think I ended up getting 3 or 4 and bogeyed the last hole or something. But yeah, I was definitely looking at scores towards the end of the round in the back nine when I wasn't facing the competitors on my card, more so the chase card.
When you took down Worlds to complete the slam, how was the response from the disc golf community? Were you like just flooded with mentions and messages from people? Any pros reaching out to you like, well done?
It was definitely a big mixture. Obviously, I had everybody from back home congratulating me, being super excited for me. You mentioned pros reaching out. Yeah, most of the people who have already won AM Worlds reached out saying, like, welcome to the club, stuff like that.
That's cool.
And then it was obviously a big backlash for being called a quote unquote bagger. All that stuff I knew was going to happen. I mean, I already experienced it earlier with USA DGC and Junior Worlds. But it was the biggest experience I've dealt with that at AM Worlds just because I was an 1007 rated player. But also, if you go back to the other AM Worlds, the last person to win AM Worlds who wasn't over 1000 rated, excluding 2025, was Evan Scott in 2021. In 2022, Paul Kearns was over 1000. 2023, Axel Olsen was over 1000. 2024, I was over 1000. And this year, Hayden Carroll was at 998 or somewhere around that, and Evan Scott when he won 2021. Yeah, Evan Scott when he went 2021 was also high 990s. So if you go back, pretty much every previous World champion has been high 990s or 1000.
Yeah, I totally disagree with anything. That's really unfortunate that you got that response. I think that's absolute crap. Yeah, like I think you were entitled to be there, and you legit earned it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I qualified under the amateur status. I declined cash. I didn't get that side of it. It was something I was striving for. It was one of my goals the entire year, and I think a lot of comments were saying, "Why did he do this?" And a lot of other people commented back saying that person's just jealous that they couldn't do what I was doing at the age I was at.
Why couldn't you do it?
Exactly. They were saying if you had the opportunity to do it, why would you not do it? I mean, it gets your name out there earlier. A lot of people who have won M Worlds go on to be big names in the disc golf world, like Jeremy Colling, like Paul Ulibarri, like Anthony Barella, like Evan Scott. They all go on to that's how they get their name out there and how they start their career off.
Absolutely. Well, in 2024, you shut down the haters by accepting your first cash, a big $85 payout. Absolutely sick. And then you cashed at almost all of your remaining events that year. In 2025, you've already played, I think, like 8 Elite Series and 2 majors, averaging in the ballpark of like 40th, which is really solid in a big MPO field on tour. You also got your first Pro Tour cash at the Kansas City Wide Open, and then again at Ledgestone. How have you been feeling about that Pro Tour life in 2025?
I'm going to go back to what you said last year real quick in 2024 for accepting my first cash. It's actually a very funny story.
I want to hear this.
I ended up getting tied second. First of all, my brother downstairs, Jake, was very mad at me because that was the same week as Professional Worlds in Lynchburg, and I didn't go up there and caddy for him. He was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, you told me for this entire time to go pro, so I'm going to go pro." And so I go over to this local C tier ran by one of my sponsors back then. And, I sign up, and one of my friends signs up who happens to be the person who normally caddies for me, who's taught me a lot about the game, who just gives me all these tips and he has some of the best form in South Carolina. His name is Rico Garcia. He is now 1013 rated. He's played 4 tournaments this year. He has a full-time job, probably plays maybe twice a month. He's one of the most naturally gifted players I've seen at the game. So I go there, I'm thinking nothing of Rico. I beat this guy all the time. I'm just coming off of Worlds, and he ended up beating me by 1 stroke and taking the first place over me. And me and Danny Beauchamp.
Well, that's just rude.
Yeah, and then me and Danny Beauchamp, shout out Devo, get second place together for a whopping $85. So, and then I don't I don't play another tournament for a while, so my career earnings stayed at $85 for about a month.
It's not the lowest amount of money I've heard people taking to go pro. You've made up for it since then with more than $11,000 in winnings since.
Yeah.
So that's quite solid.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely made up for it. I think later that year I ended up winning one of our local A tiers for just under $2,000. So, also another funny story about the career earnings is one of my good friends, Zach Wysocki, younger brother to Ricky Wysocki. For the longest times, he had more career earnings than I did, and he always liked to show that off. And he was joking, After I won that tournament, I sent him a screenshot and said, "Look who's winning now." And I got a response from him, and it was, I thought it was funny personally. I don't think he thought it was funny.
It's important to flex on your friends.
Of course.
100%. So how have you been enjoying? So you've done sort of a partial tour this year, I would say. How have you been enjoying it?
I like to call it a 3/5 tour. It's just a little over half, but it's not 75, 80%. It's been really fun. I mean, me and my brother Jake have been touring in his RV together, or I guess our RV now. It's been really good. I went down to Supreme Flight with my mom. That was in the RV for that. Then the next stretch of tour events and ATRs, I was with him until around Northwest Disc Golf Championship, where I ended up going home. And then from there, I played this another tournament called the Southeast Sizzler, which I ended up winning. But about 2 weeks after that, I ended up getting an avulsion fracture in my middle finger around, I think, July 9th. I got an avulsion fracture in my middle finger. And we had to leave for Worlds about 3 weeks later. So I was playing basketball and the ball hit me right here and went that way, and just the tendon tore a piece of bone off right here. The finger's still a little big, it's a little swollen. Doctor said it's gonna be like that for a while. I had to drop out of 2 A tiers, which it's not the end of the world. I got to play Worlds still. Yeah, I mean it sucks obviously, but still got to play Worlds. Didn't play well there at all because I was trying to play like I wasn't injured, but I was injured. Sure. So, yeah, I mean, then I played Ledgestone, but I played well at Ledgestone because I actually played like I was injured. I was disking up and throwing softer, not ripping a mid when I can just throw a soft fairway, or throwing a soft mid when I can throw a putter or stuff like that. So, definitely helped out.
Sorry, that's a really interesting strategy. Was that one that you sort of figured out yourself, or did you get some help with pros, or maybe like the PDJ? Was it Seth, the health?
Yeah, Seth
guy?
Nancy, yeah.
That's it.
No, I kind of figured it out myself. I broke it going this way, so sidearm was no issue since sidearm's pushing this way, so I can do whatever I want with sidearm. Just gripping a backhand's a little tough, so I couldn't grip putters at all during Worlds, so that was really unfortunate. But yeah, I was at Worlds. I was like ripping a fairway driver, and I was like, dude, I could just throw a soft distance driver and do the same thing. I don't know why I thought of that, and I tested it out at Lake Eureka, and I didn't go for any big shots the first round. I threw faster disc softer, and it ended up working. Pretty sure most of you guys know Hold 9 at Lake Eureka. It's that famous island hole off the bridge. I could be throwing mid-range there, but I decided to throw like a soft flex raptor instead of the mid-range there. So in hole 10, I could have thrown a fairway driver. I threw a distance driver. So there's holes like that, which just limits the stress on my finger and allows me to play better for longer.
How did you enjoy putting aside the 144th placement at Worlds, which was still one stroke behind like Greg Barsby, or in the ballpark of some notable names. And you did that while injured. But putting that aside, how did you enjoy the World's experience this year? That must have been incredible.
It was probably one of the most fun events I've ever played. I'll definitely put it top 3. I think UCGC is still my favorite event of the year to be at. You just feel like it's so close to my house, so it feels like home being in South Carolina, where I'm from. Me and my friend Dave McMurray actually won UCC doubles at that course in 2023, so I feel like I have some good history there. And overall, it's just a super iconic and an iconic course, and they just make you feel like such a professional there. So it's just really a great experience to be there. But Worlds was great. My entire family went over the pond to Finland because Jake was already over there. My mom wanted to go because obviously she's
It's
a,
Finland.
a,
How
the-
cool would that be?
yeah, exactly. My other brother wanted to go because he just finished college and we couldn't leave my dad at home. Might as well bring him too if he wanted to go.
Yeah, it's
So
fine.
we all went over there. Yeah, we all went over there, and it was great. I mean, it was great. It was incredible being in a foreign country for the first time. Well, foreign country flying to for foreign country for the first time.
Sure.
I've been to like Mexico and things like that. Like this is way different than all that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the courses are vastly different. I think the Monster Disc Golf Center is probably my favorite course played. So I think it was incredible.
And how was the whole atmosphere around the players? Was it just unlike anything you've ever seen before?
Yeah, I mean, you look in any direction and you see a 10-20 rated player. It was insane. It was the most insane collected group of disc golfers I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm pretty sure Finland has the most 1,000 rated players per capita in the world. I'm assuming.
Wow.
You go to any local A tier and there's 17, 10, 15 rated players. So the only bad part about World, I'll say this, is I was on the flight back. It's not even World's fault. Maybe it was. On the flight back, and I had a 102-degree fever for the 9-hour flight. I almost passed out.
Brutal.
Yeah, I almost passed out in the London airport, and then I almost threw up on the plane about 7 times. But it was the worst thing ever. And my mom's a dentist, so during the final round, we were going to watch Jake, and I was complaining about my tooth. I've had tooth problems in the past. She was like, "Oh, you probably there's just something flaring up," and it's like that kind of hurts when I bite down. But then when I got sick, she was like, "That makes a lot of sense because when your sinuses get clogged, the nerves also get clogged and cause more pain when in your back teeth." And I was like, "That makes so much sense why that hurt on Sunday."
I think it's fair to blame the entire country of Finland. I think that
I mean,
makes sense.
it's the only reasonable thing to do, right?
Yeah, I can't think of any other option. It's all the fish.
Yes,
Like
exactly.
smoked fish and whatever it is
Yeah.
that they eat there. So coming into this season,
Mhm.
I assume you knew that you were going to go on at least a 3/5 tour or whatever.
Mhm.
Did
Yep.
you have a goal in mind when you started this tour? And how do you think you did relative to that goal if you had one?
It's kind of hard to make goals going against the best players in the world.
Sure.
Obviously, you want to cash every event, but that's almost unrealistic for being a rookie on tour. It's super hard to cash on the Pro Tour. You got to average 10-25 and play incredible golf and crazy conditions on the hardest courses in the world. So I don't really know if I had a goal in mind. It was probably to cash at every event, which I have not done, or be close to cash every event. And just feel confident in my game and overall get better and also enjoy the life that I've given myself on the road. So it's been fun. It's been tiring, stressful, all that stuff. But overall, it's been a great time.
Speaking of a great time, of course, you just came up here to Canada and took down the 2025 Canadian Championships against a really strong field. How did you enjoy the event and the courses?
It was incredible. It was Goat's really fun. Cedar Creek was great. I think Cedar Creek was a great 8-year course. Project 15 was a lot of fun. I don't know if I'd put it in an 8-year course, probably a great beach-year course. I think if they added OB to that place, it would be really good. But it was great. I mean, I got to give a big thanks and congratulations to Clay Edwards for qualifying for UCGC. But also, me and him were signed up for the Syracuse Open. Then we saw how many people in that field were not qualified for UCGC, and we were like, we need to go somewhere else. So we found
the map.
we found Canadian Championships, and then if we signed up, we'd be the 2 of the 3 highest rated people without a UCGC spot. So we were betting on ourselves to qualify there, and that ended up happening.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
This has to be one of there probably aren't too many tournaments left to get a spot.
I looked back at it, besides Monday qualifying, I was technically the last player to qualify via tournament. Because
Wow,
I was the last I was the last person to finish, like it was the last A tier to finish of that day, and I was the last person to qualify on that day.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that final round on that final day.
Okay.
You came into it with I think a 2-shot lead over Austin Bates and Jaden Rye.
Mm-hmm. And then I had a 3-shot lead over Jakub, and then a 4-shot lead over Clay.
Yeah. And you had shot an amazing neg 10 1054 rated round at Cedar Creek.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a game plan on how to approach the final round at Hope Goat? Had you been able to get many practice rounds in to sort of know the course?
No, I had one practice round there.
Not many.
No, but then after the round at Cedar Creek, Clay and Jakub wanted to go practice the course, so they went just the front. I watched the course. I got a second look at it and kind of revised my game plan, I guess you could say. I looked at some holes and different shot shapes that would work. Like hole 5, for example, is a par 5. There's 2 gaps. I was taking the left gap in the tournament. I took the right gap just because you can get around the corner easier. So things like that, just looking at it, giving you a second look and not throwing the disc actually kind of helps. Just walking through the course, seeing where discs land, spotting for them, seeing what happens with the ground play and stuff like that at the end of the flight where you can't see off the tee definitely helps a lot.
What do you think were sort of some of the turning point holes on that final round?
Wow.
Or shots
Yeah. Hole 1 was just a big momentum booster for me personally. I ended up getting a birdie. Austin Bates ended up getting a bogey on that hole on the first time through, I guess you could say.
So you got by 4 after hole 1.
To him, yes, but Jade also got a birdie, which made it 2 strokes. So in my mind, after that, I wasn't really even thinking about Austin because I was like, I have 4 strokes to this guy. I should be able to hold off 4 strokes. It's like kind of how I was going into the round and not thinking about Clay, but he ended up making a run at the end of it, as you guys saw. But yeah, then Austin decided to birdie hole 2, which is an insane birdie. Hole 3, hole 4, he parred hole 5, he got hole 6, got hole 7, got hole 8, got hole 9. So he was just quickly racking up the birdies. And, I think we were tied after hole 6, and I was thinking to myself, all right, bro, you got to step it up. I mean, this is not, obviously, you were not playing well. I mean, I was 2 down through 6, which is not the worst start ever at Oakville. But, I mean, I was like, I need to step it up. So I ended up birdieing 7, 8, and 9 to finish the front 9 to get to a respectable 5 under on the front, which is not bad at all. Ended up losing a stroke. I think I might even been tied with Austin Bates, or maybe even have been one or somewhere around there. But another big hole was hole 10. Austin Bates ended up throwing it to the right. Ended up playing it safe to the left. He got a bogey. I missed a 23-footer for birdie. So it could have been another 2-stroke swing. I was really picking myself for that one. The next I got another stroke on hole 12 on him. So I think I was up 2 or I was up 3 to him at that point.
And then 14.
13.
So what happened on 14?
I'll get there. 13, he...
Don't get ahead of yourself. Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
13, I threw a bad tee shot, pitched up, got a par. He had about a 35-footer for birdie, and I was like, this is where he's got to make one. Misses it left. And I'm like, this guy is just giving me so many opportunities right now. I'm not walking through the door. So I throw a sidearm that gets on 14. We're on 14 now. Throw a sidearm that gets through to like 35 feet. I'm like, finally got an opportunity to get a birdie putt after a couple holes. I missed a lot. Let me get a birdie here. Austin throws a sidearm to 20. I'm like, okay. 5-footer, air ball right to 25.
Oh, no.
I'm like, dang it. I missed the shot of left. And I'm like, bro, I just got this. Just let this guy win the game. Just let him. If I make that one, I'm up 3 with 4 holes to play. And hole 17 is a pretty easy birdie. Hole 18 is also a pretty easy birdie. So then we both ended up parring 15, and then 16 is really where we distanced ourselves from the field. We both took birdies. At this point, I think the scores after 15 holes were me at 25, Austin at 24, Clay Edwards at 24. He was 8 down through 15 or something. Jakub at 23, Jaden at 23. So there was 5 players within 2 strokes, or 4 players within 2 strokes of me.
Clay took himself out of it.
Yeah, instead of that's I'm getting to on 16.
Yeah.
He took a 7. Jakub took a 6. Jaden took a 5. Me and Austin both birdied that one. So after that point, my brother Jake actually taught me this. He said, if you're ever in a battle with somebody and you're leading, just act like in your head you are tied with them. Because if you tie every hole, you can't lose.
Match
So exactly, I had 1 stroke on him, and 17, he threw it to bullseye. I had a 30-footer, made the 30-footer. Now I'm like, this is exactly what I want to do. I was literally telling myself on 16, let's just execute 5 good shots, and we pretty much won the tournament. So we get at 18, he throws first, perfect tee shot. I throw mine a little too far right, but there's a sidearm gap. He goes big Annie, cut rolls, almost out of bounds, stays in bounds. I throw a sidearm, hit a tree on the right side, kick right. And I'm like, I have nothing from here. Try to force a venom through the gap, hits a branch, falls down. So I pitch up and tap in a par. He taps in a birdie, and I'm like, dude, if I just lost this because I didn't birdie one of the easiest holes in the course, I'm gonna be so mad. Then we go to a playoff. So
we go back to hole 1, 771 feet downhill, where, as we mentioned, you birdied round 1 and he bogeyed round 1. How you feeling at this point? Feeling confident or you feeling nervous?
I would say both. I was nervous because this is actually only my 2nd ever playoff. I've only been in 2 playoffs ever in my life.
Okay.
Which is kind of insane.
How did the first one turn out?
I won it on the first hole.
100% success rate so far.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I was thinking, I was like, won a playoff before. Was on a way easier hole 1. It was like a wide open 350-foot shot. This one's definitely a little more complicated, and a lot more people watching this one than the other one. Yeah, I was feeling good because I knew that I birdied it, Austin bogeyed it, but I know Austin's a good enough player to where he's not going to make the same mistake twice. He went to be long. He's going to throw something more overstable and throw it higher and get it safe. So he ended up going first because he had a hot round, and he threw a little force hyzer to the middle of the fairway. I'm like, all right, sweet. I take out my same disc, I throw it, and I guess I was just very amped up because I throw it, skips, it's like 4 feet short of the OB line, and I'm like, I was never in my mind.
So you're down OB, the left side OB where it comes back.
Yeah, the left side OB where it comes back in. Yeah, it was right there.
Yeah. It was on the downslope part.
Around there.
Yeah, I think it's a bomb. Great shot.
Yeah, I think I went first. I don't really know who it was. It might have been Austin, but it been me. This first, I told Austin. To be fair, I like to throw first in playoff situations like
put the pressure on him.
I love doing that.
Sure.
So he wanted to go first, so I did. I threw him also back in. It got a little squeaky on the right side, but that's what you're kind of trying to do on that hole anyways. It got through to about 15 feet. Austin was a little too far to the right side, kind of contending with that right side OB line. So he threw a sidearm that almost went in, skipped about 40 feet long.
Oh, no.
I looked at his line. It was a little tough, but Austin's a great putter, so I went and set my battle over next to the next tee. I was thinking you're going to go to hole 2. But he unfortunately hit the bill from about 40 feet. So it was a great run by him. I'm sure he was obviously upset by the run, but at least he didn't miss it low or something like that. He showed no signs of nerves on that putt, which is insane. Because I step up to my 14.5 footer, and I'm like, this is the most scary putt I've ever had in my entire life right here. Just
a scary 15-footer.
No, what it was. I've been missing putt. I had 3 circle 1 misses in the final round. That probably played into it. And just knowing I could easily win, and just the thought of missing it and embarrassment creeping into how embarrassing this would be to miss this 14-footer in front of 75 people when I have the win in my hands. Luckily, I did not miss the 15-footer. Clay Edwards actually joked after. It was like, bro, why'd you take a second on the putt? Take a little more time to think about it. I'm like, It's exactly what I'm not going to do. I don't want to take more time to think about it.
Don't think about it. No.
Putt it, and then or not think about it and just let my body do what naturally does.
You've made that putt thousands of times in the past.
Exactly.
The muscle memory knows what to do. Don't let the brain tell it otherwise.
Exactly.
Absolutely fantastic tournament. I think the last non-Canadian to win Canadian Nationals was Nate Sexton back in 2019.
Sweet.
You are in fantastic company. And so congratulations on your great win. And you're just gonna have to come back next year to defend your title.
My God, well, it depends where the national championship is. If it's too far away,
okay,
it might be a little bit of a drive. Okay,
it's pretty far.
But
it is.
If they have the rip again at Haute Goat, I will be there for that if it correlates with the touring season.
So I would imagine that Daryl will be trying to put together the rip again next year.
Okay, if he does that, I will probably be there.
We haven't talked about it, but just like, given that it's still so perfectly located between DGLO and GMC.
It's literally perfect. It's like the fastest way to get there.
It's just, you got to go right past the course anyway. Mm-hmm. Might as well have a tournament.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So let's change some topics here. So you've got your YouTube channel, Ryan Monn Disc Golf, but it's been a little while since you posted some new videos. Do you think you're going to return to making content like you once did, or now that you're like a big, pro tour player, are you thinking maybe content is not so much what you're interested in, or just don't have time to do?
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to get back at it for so many times. I have so many like videos on my phone that I've filmed, like trying to film like a vlog for the Open at Tallahassee, and I've never even completed it or even tried to film it, kind of stuff like that. I was trying to film myself for Worlds, never even thought about that when I got on the plane. So stuff like that. It's also being busy.
You're pretty sick on the plane, so I can imagine why it's kind of slipped your mind.
Exactly. Trying to play good instead of post content is a big thing as well. So I don't have any plans currently to film YouTube videos. Maybe some local A tiers. Talked to a guy about doing something for this tournament called Hub City Halloween Open, which I won last year. Kind of like a Simon style video, maybe something like that. Talked to him about that. So that might be in the works. I have no idea. Do not expect that to come out. It's not for sure thing coming out. So, but that just might. It's like a 50.
Make sure to hit that subscribe button so that like and subscribe, and so when it gets released, hit that bell.
Exactly. Yeah. But
that's what the kids say these days.
No videos in the works.
So you're on Team Discraft and Team Ledgestone. Mm-hmm. How and when did that sponsorship come about, and how's it been?
Okay, so last year in 2024, it was really the end of 2023, I got picked up by Discraft Underground. We threw a lot of Discraft, probably about 65-70% of Discraft. And I was talking with Wes Shinovar, who is the captain of the Discraft Underground team, about being on Underground just early into 2023. So I thought I was going to get the call a lot sooner than I did, but I was still very grateful when I got the call later in the year. It was actually funny. I was taking my pre-ACT, practice ACT, and I was not looking forward to that. To take that at all. And then I got in my car. I went on the way back, and Shinovar was like, shoot me a call when you can at this number. And I was like, wait, this is an insane turnaround day of being so not excited to take a test, taking the test, doing pretty decent on it, and then being excited that I'm done with the test, and then getting a call that I'll be on Discraft Underground. It was just an insane turn of events for that day. And then when I ended up taking down the Amateur World Championships, 2 weeks later, I got to move up to Team Discraft on the tour team. And then Ledgestone was a new sponsor for this year. Last year, I was on this local company called Down South Discs. Shout out Ishtal, where he was my first ever disc golf sponsor.
Awesome.
So kind of outgrown as a professional, yeah.
Ledgestone can help me way more than he can on tour. But I'll forever be grateful for what Ish did for my career early as a competitor, as a junior player. But Ledgestone happened this year. I'm pretty good friends with Mike McGrath, who was on Team Peace on Team Ledgestone, and he's great friends with Paul Johnson, he boxed disc golf, who is like the creative designer for Ledgestone. He also went to Clemson, so that a little bit of connection there. Clemson's about from my house. My mom, they all went there. That's kind of a cool connection as well. But we were at this tournament in Clemson. He was like, dude, if you ever want to do something with Ledgestone, just let me know. So I texted him one day. I was like, yo, I want to do something with Ledgestone. He was like, let's do it.
Let's
so
do
I
it.
ended up getting on the team that way, which is really great. And then we ended up releasing Ryan Monn Crystal Undertakers this year, which very good. They're a very overstable run of Undertaker, which is really nice.
So I was going to ask, so is that your first, is that like a tour series disc or a fundraiser disc?
I think it's technically a signature disc is what they're calling it.
Okay.
It's not a tour series disc, it's a disc. It's
I hear that.
technically, but it's a
Sure.
Ledgestone brand. So yeah, I mean, it's really a cool thing to have my name on a disc that is a limited run. I mean, obviously I have some other discs from when I won NATs and things like that, but it feels good to have other discs in that sense.
So I'm a disc nerd, of course. We all are disc nerds. I like to do like the little like mini in the bag. So in 2025, what are your, like, I would say like the most important discs, the ones that you would like consider diving into a pond in Florida to recover?
Okay, yeah. In my bag currently I have a lot of discs, but we'll go with the 2020.
Top three.
Okay, top three.
Top three. I know it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Okay, I think I got this 2020 Tour Series brand zone that my brother Jake gave to me. It's our favorite zone. It's always on when I put on this draft. Definitely that one. This Nate Dogg's GI Buzz that my dad gifted me for Christmas. We joke around and say it's my quote unquote do it all buzz. It's just a little joke. Me and Jake started at Ledgestone. We put out to a course. I brought like that disc. I was like, oh, this is just my do it all buzz. So just a joke.
That's all you need.
Yeah, exactly. And then other one will be this 2020 GMC Crystal Raptor. It was like a fundraiser stamp for GMC. And for some reason, it's just my favorite on a Raptor. It's like, it has this like slight dome, so it has glide, but it's still overstable since it's a Crystal Raptor. It has the perfect profile for something and just
That's probably a good one to try and recover because that doesn't sound like you're going to be able to replace it very easily.
No, I mean, I got it from Jake, so I have two other ones, and then I'm trying to get a third one off Sullivan Tipton right now, so we'll see what I can do.
How competitive are you with your older brother Jake? Obviously, he's also on tour. Is there a lot of sibling rivalry?
Yeah, very much so. We play pretty much a scored round every time we can, every time we feel the need to. Unfortunately, right now he seems to be playing really good and getting top tens and stuff, so he's been winning most of the battles.
It was really inconsiderate of him.
Yeah, for real. Let me win a couple at least. But no, he's been playing incredible, so I can't really do that. So I want to see him as much as he can.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, definitely a bigger
rivalry.
The
word.
Yeah, the word.
So I imagine you are on the ground now at Smugs in Vermont for GMC. Is this your first time out there to play the courses, or have you been there before? And how do you like the courses? Which one are you feeling more suits your game?
Okay, yeah. So I've been here before, but I've not played this tournament. Came here in 2023 to caddy for Jake. I ended up playing Fox Run with them as a practice round. So today was my first time playing Brewster. I've walked it and seen it on coverage before, obviously. But today was my first time playing it. We also played Fox today as well. I would say they both fit my game pretty decently, I would say. It's kind of tough. I played better on Fox today than I did Brewster, but I feel like I could still play well on Brewster. I would say I like Fox better than Brewster, but they're both still phenomenal courses.
Which one do you like better?
I would say Fox Run. Yeah, I think Fox is better.
Have you told Jake that he needs to caddy for you to return the favor for you caddying for him?
Yes, well,
that seems fair. You should clearly drop out.
he caddied for me during Junior Worlds last year, so he kind of returned the favor there.
That's too bad.
Yeah,
well,
so
worth a try.
He might drop out this week. He also is trying to make the Pro Tour finale, so I don't want him to drop out either.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably fair. That's probably fair.
Yeah.
Where are you on the line to get into MVP?
I think it's top 80. I'm like in one of three right now, so not too close in points per se, but they're doing this thing where the top 8 people who have not qualified for GMC get a qualification spot. I'm sorry, if not qualifying for MVP, get a qualification spot at GMC. So
That's
technically,
pretty cool.
if I just get if I cash, I'm probably an MVP, would be my guess. So that's what I'm gonna.
Is Jake already in MVP?
Mm-hmm. Jake is in 27th, 26th.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, he's been having a pretty great year.
It would be awesome. I'll be there. I'm the official spotter on 14, so it would be awesome
sweet.
to see
What
you.
course?
Of course.
Maple
At Maple Hill, yeah, absolutely. So obviously, as a friend of the show now, always guaranteed green flag. I got you.
And my card has to go with it. Exactly. Whatever the spotter says.
Listen, it landed in the lake. It was clearly in.
Yeah.
It may have been an ace, and then I made the ruling. Just accept.
Yeah, I like it. I like that. That's great. Now I'm not gonna worry about a hole at Maple Hill.
Don't worry about it. It's all good. I'll talk to Steve. We'll be good. We'll be fine. I'm sure. Great. No one will notice. So we mentioned on the top of the show that that you're absolutely one of the sort of the rising young talent on tour, and there seems to be like a number of you young guns sort of taking it on. Sort of you're the Jaden Rye and Luke Taylor, both who have been on the show. On the FPO side, you've got Rebecca Dawn and Alizra, and like there is an incredible young crop of talent that is making a go of it. Which I absolutely love. I think it's fantastic. Are you actively like supporting each other on tour? And are there like veteran players on tour that you're learning from, just on things like how to tour? Mm-hmm. I imagine having Jake makes it a bit of an easier transition, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, Jake has helped a lot with me. He knows pretty much every course on tour, and I do not know. I mean, I know of them. I've watched some of them, obviously, but I've never played some of them, so he's helped out a lot with that. He knows my name. Maybe what am I saying? Name. He knows my game, not my name.
I hope he knows your name.
He does know my name. He knows my game very well. He knows my very well.
Good.
So he helps me out with. And then we're supporting. I don't know how to really answer that one. We don't or things like that, but I do hope they all do well. I hope they all place well. So I guess if you want to call that supporting, there's the answer.
Yeah, I mean, like, how do I mean? Like, do you travel together? Do you, are you like, I don't know, like hanging out and providing that camaraderie on tour?
I mean, I wouldn't say travel together because me and Jake travel in the RV, but sure. I would say we sometimes play practice rounds together. Yeah, I mean, me and Elliot play practice rounds. DGLO, me, Jake, and whenever I see them, I'll say what's up and all that stuff, or good shooting if they shot a good round, stuff like that. So yeah, I guess you could say that.
Has there been anything about being on tour that has sort of surprised you? Like, oh, I didn't expect it would be like this, or something like that?
Not really, because I've had Jake tell me all the stuff before. But
He's kind of a cheat code for you.
yeah, he kind of is. He's like taking a math test where you're having all the answers. So it's great to have that in the back pocket, obviously. But yeah, nothing I can really think of that has surprised me. Maybe that I got one thing actually. People say rating earlier in tour. People always said ratings were better in tour. I actually think ratings are worse on
Interesting.
other teams. Because okay, like if I just played A tiers, I could be almost 1025 rated by now. But I'm playing against the best players in the world, and it's hard to when you shoot a good round, it only ends up being 1047 rated. But when I play a good round at Cedar Creek, for example, this weekend, it ends up being 1054 rated, and I took a bogey and missed a putt or missed an easy hole or something like that. So there's things like that.
Have you had an instance where you're arriving to a course for the first time, one that you've seen on coverage, over the years, and just be like, I'm here, like I'm here to play this course, this like legendary course.
Yeah, I would say
and feel like
bargain.
feel that.
Yeah, I would say it's a bargain. Definitely is probably the one. Nokia.
When you walk up to hole one, that downhill shot that you've seen on coverage all the times, like, oh, this is what it's like.
Yeah, I mean that one, the beast Nokia in Finland for sure.
Sure.
How iconic that one is. I'm sure it's gonna happen with Maple Hill if all five years about the whole one scene right there. It's definitely gonna be an iconic one for sure.
I mean, obviously, I'm not a player like that. But the first year that we went there in 2022 to volunteer, and we walked up on like the Wednesday, and we're like, oh man, there's the stone wall around the green. It is smaller than it looks on coverage, and oh my god, there's the pond at 1, and walking down to 8, and it's just like hallowed grounds of disc golf. It is so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty surreal looking at courses you've seen for a long time on coverage, and finally being at the course and throwing the tee shot you see on coverage for so long. That's what my dad was saying when he went to Finland. He's watched coverage for a while too, and seeing the beast being like, oh, I've seen this on coverage. I play this on Disc Golf Valley, and it's so weird to see this. Yeah, exactly. He knows the course, but he's never been.
Yeah.
It's an odd feeling that only certain sports can really attest to. I mean, pretty much golf and disc golf. You've been to a certain area. Like, there's probably some people who've just watched, like the Masters, for example, at Augusta National
Sure.
in Georgia, can almost they know every hole by like the knock of the hand, and they've never stepped foot on the property. So it's kind of a rarity.
In the unlikely event that you don't get the one of those 8 qualifying spots, will you be there caddying for Jake?
Probably not. So, my oldest brother likes to caddy for him, and Jake likes him to caddy for him. So I'll probably just take his plane ticket home if I don't end up qualifying, which I'm not going to do. I can go home earlier and see my friends, see my daughters early.
As opposed to walking Maple Hill.
Exactly. And I'll be happy either way. Either I get into Maple Hill and get to play another Pro Tour playoff event and check a course off my list, or I get to go back home to my family and see my friends. So it's a win-win either way.
That sounds like it. So one last sort of question before we go to our famous lightning round questions.
Whoa.
Yes. So looking ahead, of course, to 2026, I imagine you're probably going to commit to the tour full time, or are you thinking more like this year with like a 3/5 kind of tour? And if you do you think you'll branch out on your own and van life it or Airbnb with other players, or are you more or less going to keep sticking with Jake? Because frankly, I imagine that would make it a lot easier.
I haven't put too much thought into all of that yet. We're still in the season, so but I would imagine I'm trying to do full tour, and I'll just be sticking with Jake because being with Jake would be financially easier and just easier in general. And
Sure.
I mean, having a roommate isn't, and with it being somebody that I like or love as much as Jake and being my own brother is, it's really cool to share and be with him and share a spot tour with him. So I wouldn't be mad anyway.
It sounds like that would be, frankly, pretty ideal.
Yeah, I would say
Yeah. Well, so before we let you go, we would like to hit you with a few lightning round questions that we ask all of our new guests, just off the top of your head, whatever comes to mind first. First one, the softball question. What is your favorite course?
the monster in Finland.
Absolutely solid
Absolutely.
pick. What is the hardest course you've ever played?
That one is very close, but probably Northwood's Black is also.
I mean, it's Northwood Black. That's its reputation, and it's well earned. One sport to play or watch other than disc golf. What are you choosing?
Probably basketball. I mean, it's kind of weird saying that. That's how I broke my finger, but that was the sport I liked. That was the sport I liked the most, and probably the sport I know the most about besides disc golf.
Maybe do more watching than playing during the season.
Yeah, probably.
What's the prognosis on the injury repair? How long is this?
They said either take 2 months off or wait till the end of the season and take a 3 to a month and a half, 3 weeks to a month and a half off at the end of the season. Probably end up taking about 4 to 5 weeks off at the end of the season to rest my finger, give it time to heal, and ice and all that good stuff. So that's the plan I went with. And my doctor said that's the plan he would go with. He was in my situation as well, because they said you can't really make it worse. So I'll go with the option the doctor recommends.
It sounds like a plan to me. So what song makes you instantly turn up the volume to max and sing your heart out? Or a go-to karaoke track, if you do that?
I do not do karaoke, and I don't really know a song that makes me sing. I'm not a big singer, so I don't really have an answer for that one.
Okay, that's fine. You're now doing the tour life. You're on the road. You got to eat what is your favorite place to stop for food on a road trip? You're hungry. You're going down the highway. You see the sign in the distance. What sign do you hope it is?
Probably Chick-fil-A or Dave's Hot Chicken. I'm a really big chicken. So one of those two for sure.
We've got a Dave's Hot Chicken near me. I haven't been in to check it out yet, but I really need to.
It's pretty good. I enjoy it a lot. The one thing about it is they charge you for a fountain drink, and it's not a part of it. Just work. I think it's stupid, but
That's crap.
It's annoying. At least that's what they do here in the States. I don't know.
Yeah, they probably do the same.
I can't speak up for it.
We cannot endorse this travesty. Combo obviously includes a drink.
Yeah, I mean, it should include fries or slash a salad as a drink. So, but we can all agree on that one.
That's just science.
Yeah, exactly. That just makes sense.
Yeah. What movie never gets old no matter how many times you watch it?
This is insane. I'm actually a big movie guy, but I would say Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith. That was my favorite movie when I was growing up. I'm a big Star Wars fan. So,
an interesting choice in the Star Wars universe to go with Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah,
definitely
that one,
the best of the prequels.
Yeah, that one just had the most action, which I always liked when I was a child. Watching Anakin burn was always a little gruesome when I was a child, but
sure. Last one. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
I would say teleportation, just for my job, because I could go to the course and then I could just teleport back to my house and sleep in my house every night, and then teleport back to the course in the morning. I think that'd be the best superpower for my profession.
And that is the perfect tour life. Basically, get rid of the tour life
Yeah.
part and
Yeah,
just go stuck
exactly.
to the playing part.
Yeah, I would just be home all the time, and if my friends were like, "Yo, why don't you come show by?" Oh, I'll come stop by for a little bit, and I'll just teleport out. So, I mean,
Get the Star Trek transporter room,
yeah,
in the living room or whatever.
yeah, yeah. That'd be ideal. Obviously, that's not realistic at all, but that'd be great.
Superpowers are not meant to be realistic; they're meant to be amazing.
That's true.
So, Ryan, thank you so much for joining us here on the show. But so before we let you go, do you have any shout outs that you would like to give or any final comments? The floor is yours.
Yeah, I would like to thank Discraft, Ledgestone, and Circle One Discs as their sponsors for the 2025 season. I would like to thank parents, my siblings, all my friends who supported me, and the I want to thank Jesus Christ for being Lord and Savior and pretty much being why I'm here, giving me this opportunity to play disc golf as a job. So it's been great, but thanks for definitely the biggest sponsor, by the way. For watching this, you are the biggest sponsor. They always give me crap for saying stuff in interviews like, "Wait, why do you not say us? We're your biggest sponsor?" So I'll go ahead and tell them that they're the biggest sponsor.
For a lot of players, the mom and dad they're going to be the first sponsor, and a lot of times they are the most important sponsor. This is not, this is not the PGA Tour, where the money is huge.
Mm-hmm.
So, thank you again. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure, Ryan, to have you on the show, and we can't wait to see how you do at the GMC, and I'm hoping at MVP Open.
We'll see
and
there,
watch how your career progresses. I think the sky is absolutely the limit with your talent.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me as well.
You're very welcome, and we'll be right back on Miss Mando.
Welcome back to Missed Mando. Thank you once again so much to MPO champion from the Canadian Championship, Ryan Monn, for joining us on the show. Unfortunately, couldn't be there myself, but Shawnee G knocked it out of the park as always. And we are going to move on to some Ontario/Canadian disc golf news. And while we were out at the Canadian Championship, the host cities for the 2026 and 2027 Canadian Championships were awarded and announced. The 2026 Canadian Championships will be heading to Grande Prairie, Alberta, and the 2027 Canadian Championships will be heading to Dieppe, New Brunswick. Heading out west and then all the way out east. Great choices for both of those tournaments. I don't know if you have anything else that you would like to add for that, Shawnee G. I know you were out in Dieppe this year.
Yeah, I was. I went out to play the Dieppe Open in May, and it's a great fun course and a really good organizing team. I'm very excited to go back in 27 to play that event. It's going to be great, and I think they're building an entirely new course for it, which will be fantastic. Grande Prairie, Alberta is super interesting, pretty far north, and like a 4-hour drive northwest of Edmonton. I've never been up in that part of the country before. That would be pretty cool to see. We don't have the dates, I don't think, yet. So it'll be interesting to see when they fall, especially up north, if the days get a little bit shorter, a little bit quicker. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I'm looking forward to both. Congratulations to both of those bid teams for putting together a winning package. I'm really, really excited for them.
Definitely can't wait for those. Hopefully, we'll be able to make it out to Grande Prairie. Like you said, it's coming from Ontario. The travel out there is going to take a little bit of organization. I think it will have to be fly to Edmonton and then drive the rest of the way. I haven't really looked into it myself, but that's my initial thought of how I would have to do it, which will be interesting. But I would love to go out there. And I was already planning on going to Dieppe next year after all the rave reviews that I heard from the Dieppe Open this year. So I guess 2027, I'll have to go out east again and make sure I'm out there for the Canadian Championship. But Shawnee G, let's move on to some registrations, and I'm going to throw it back over to you to run through them.
We are somehow almost at the end of the tournament season, or at least things starting to really slow down in terms of new ones dropping on the calendar. But we have two new ones that have emerged. The first one, and this one is a really interesting one. It is the Five Sisters Open. It is a B tier out at Five Sisters Disc Golf Club in Westport, Ontario, which is a little bit north of Kingston. This is the family private owned course of the Dawn family. And if you've played probably literally any tournament in Ontario, you have met members of the Dawn family. I think there's like 850 of them, and they all play disc golf except like one of them. And they're so nice, and they built this course on their property, and they're hosting a B tier on it to sort of, I think, kick it off. The event goes down on October 18th and 19th, and registration for it opens on September 17th. This is going to be a fantastic event. I am super excited for this one. And then the other new one, a space, one of those MVP space races where you get like a couple discs, and it's a glowy event, and you play just with those discs, and I think maybe one or two others or whatever, is going down November 1st at Centennial Gardens in St. Catharines. Registration opens first for members of the St. Catharines Women's Disc Golf Club on September 16th. This is the same weekend as the Bronte Classic. And then you'd be able to, you would be able to play that and then pop over to St. Catharines to play that. There's tee times every 15 minutes. It's a lot more casual and fun, unsanctioned, of course. And I mentioned that it opens up to St. Catharines Women's Disc Golf Club first, but then it opens up to everybody on Friday the 19th. So everybody will be able to get on that. Though I think space is somewhat limited, so you want to get on that soon if you haven't played one of the space race events so far this year. They look like super fun, and I think the discs this year look pretty great. I think one of them is a particle proton uplink, if I remember, and I love me some uplink.
Me too.
It is wonderfully flippy, and absolutely great disc. Here we go. So yeah. Oh no, I was mistaken. Sorry. You don't get the uplink. That was I think last year maybe. This year you get an MVP Eclipse Atom, which is a great straight throwing putter, and then you get a Particle Eclipse Crave, and
which is also amazing.
Who doesn't love a Crave? It's super fun event. Be sure to sign up for that. And I think it's a modified course. They're not using the full course. They're using like a partial course with like short tees. That'll be super fun, almost like a little ace race. So it should be good.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. It's truly hard to believe that we're winding down the season here already. This year has blown by so fast for disc golf in Ontario. And speaking of disc golf in Ontario that's gone past, we're going to move on to some tournament recaps. And we start our recaps out in Kemptville, Ontario for the Flying Ferguson Forest Fall Foray, aka 5F, which was the second last stop on the 2025 Ontario Tour and saw 108 players across 17 divisions battling for a top 3 spot to qualify for provincials if they have not already. There was no FPO division at this event, but in the MPO division, it was Christopher Lay from Ottawa who held a 4-stroke lead after round 1 after a scorching hot, bogey-free 1043 rated -13, possibly the course record, although I'm not 100% sure on that, with Julian Quenville sitting in second at -9. After a bogey and a par start to round 2 for Chris, matched by 2 birdies by Julian, the lead was down to 1 before Chris added 2 birdies on 5 and 6 to increase the lead to 3 again. But 2 bogeys on 7 and 8 compared to birdies from Julian would tie things up after 9 holes. Chris would settle down from there, though, going -5 in the next 4 holes with an eagle, while Julian went even par in that stretch to fall off the lead, and Chris would go on to take the win by 4 strokes for his first win of the season. In MP40, Jeff Penton held a 3-stroke lead over Craig Ireland after the first round, but Craig was able to tie things up in round 2 with a 943 rated -6 to send things to a playoff. And it would take the first playoff hole for things to end, as Craig would sink a nice putt to take it down for his second win this year and second in a row after the Lake Ontario Open. Over in the top amateur divisions, Don Pengoli and Taylor Quigley were tied at the top after round 1 in FA1 after shooting matching 874 rated +1 rounds. In round 2, it was Dawn who was able to finish stronger, shooting another +1 to take down the win by 2 strokes, her first FA win of the season, but 13th overall if you include her FA 50 stats. She is dominant over in that division. In MA1, it was yours truly, this guy right here, who held a 2-stroke lead over Logan Gillard and Brock Dowdle after round 1, after shooting a 953 rated -3 from the gold tees. But in round 2 from the blue tees, Max Noe birdied the first 5 holes of the round, while I took 2 birdies and a bogey in that stretch for Max to take a 1-stroke lead. I answered back with 3 straight birdies to take a 2-stroke lead, but my 4th birdie in a row was matched with an eagle by Max. Nothing like getting a birdie and still actually losing a stroke to the guy you're battling with. And he shrunk the lead back down to 1. Back-to-back bogeys from Max, however, would increase my lead to 3, and then he finished strong by birdieing 6 of the last 7 holes, but I was able to birdie 5 of the last 7 holes as well to take down the win by 2 strokes in the end. Huge shout out to Max for that epic battle. I believe his final round -11 was 990 something rated, while I was in the 980s for that final round. So I really had to play really well in that last round to be able to come home with the win, and Max pushed me all the way. So big shout out there. Shawnee G, let's throw it over to you for any of your thoughts from the Flying Ferguson Forest Fall Foray.
Had a fantastic time. It was my first time playing a tournament out on this course, and I really like how it was set up, the sort of the different, the woods half and the field half with lots of OB. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm really glad that we made the trek out there to play. There were no aces that I can see on the scorecards, but there were some tight battles on this one. We had Howie Meeker and MA50 taking it down by 1 stroke over perennial favorite Lori Dotto. That's a big win. Spencer Zollinger, he took it down by 1 stroke in MA2, and there were playoffs in FA3, MA3, and MA60. Amazing. Unfortunately, PDGA Live doesn't show me who actually won those playoffs. So I don't know that I can be confident to say which one it was. But huge congrats to Angelica and Drake for an amazing event. Really had a great time, very well organized, and it went perfectly smoothly. So yeah, great event, and congrats to the winners. Even you. Congrats to even you.
Well, thank you, Shawnee G. I also am, because I just looked over because I was like, well, I saw that Craig beat Jeff in that playoff in MP40, so I just wanted to look over, and because you can see that their scores are tied, but one's labeled 1 and one is labeled as 2, and I'm just looking over in those divisions that you have labeled as playoffs, And unless we're looking at something different, and none of those divisions went to a playoff. So,
You are completely right. I was looking at round 1 when they were tied. So completely ignore me. So let me see here. Did I get
oh my
any of
goodness, that is so funny.
yeah, you know what? I was toggling between the divisions looking for aces, and
you left it on round 1 when you.
I totally did. Yeah. Yeah. No,
Now you were right. Howie did take a 1-stroke win over Lori in MA50. Looks
Spencer
like
did win it in MA2 just by a lot.
yes, it was not a 1-stroke win in the end. And I'm assuming, I don't know if that's his brother, but second place Isaac Zollinger. So that's pretty cool if those are brothers taking down first and second there.
You would think so.
I would think so based on the last names. But we can move off of that now if you'd like to, Shawnee G, unless you want to retroactively shout out any 1-stroke winners. But we'll just say shout out to all the 1-stroke winners out there. We know we got at least one right in this recap.
There was only one.
Only one.
Wait,
All right.
Nope, there was a second one. Found it. Keegan Jones taking down MA3 by 1 stroke over Devin Kissman.
Nice.
Well done.
Shout out to everybody there. 1-stroke wins or not, a absolutely great tournament. And shout out to Angelica, and Drake out there for running once again an amazing tournament. I can't even count the amount of times that I sung Angelica in that day. Just every time somebody said her name, it popped into my head. So that was a lot of fun. And next we head to beautiful Port Hope and Peterborough area for what is easily the largest tournament in Ontario for 2025, the Canadian Championship, which saw 493 total players across 21 divisions competing on 4 amazing courses for a chance to be crowned a 2025 national champion. In the FPO division, local star Rebecca Dawn held a 3-stroke lead after a 998 rated -8 at Project 15 in round 1, scorching hot round, with Chantel Badinsky 3 strokes back in second and Alex Paletto another 2 strokes back in third. Round 2 at Newcastle saw Rebecca increase her lead to 4 strokes, but after shooting the hot round of -6, it was now Paige Pierce tied with Chantel Badinsky in second place, a full 7 strokes clear of the rest of the field. Round 3 started with back-to-back bogeys for Paige, while Rebecca would go birdie and par to increase her lead to 7 strokes. But a bogey and birdie from Paige on hole 3 would drop it back to 5. Another bogey on 5 would shrink the lead to 4. Then both players matched each other over the next 4 holes before another 2-stroke swing in Paige's favor dropped the lead to 2. Both players would take pars on 11 and 12 before Paige took a bogey on 13, but an unfortunate triple bogey from Rebecca would leave things tied at the top. Rebecca would take the lead back with a birdie on 15, but a birdie from Paige on 17 would tie things up going into the par 5 18th hole. Rebecca was able to get to just outside C1 for a birdie look, while Paige was up first with a birdie look from 45 feet, looking uphill at an elevated basket, and Paige cashed her putt dead center, putting the pressure right on Rebecca. And her putt would unfortunately miss, making Paige the 2025 Canadian champion, the 4th Canadian championship of her career. Over in MPO, reigning Canadian champion Thomas Gilbert came out on fire in round 1, shooting a bogey-free 1063 rated -13 at Project 15 from the gold tees. That's bonkers to me, who also had to play the gold tees in this event. And he would take a 2-stroke lead over friend of the show, Jaden Rye, with Ryan Monn in second at -10, and a 4-way tie at -9 between Cam Zanini, Clay Edwards, Logan Burrow, and Austin Bates. Round 2 at Cedar Creek saw a shakeup at the top of the leaderboard, with Ryan Monn holding a 2-stroke lead after tying the hot round with a 10.54 rated -10. Jeez, out at Cedar Creek, that's bonkers. Austin Bates and Jaden Rye were tied for second, and Jakub Semerod was sitting tied with Thomas Gilbert in fourth after he also tied the hot round that Jake Monn shot as well. The final round saw a back-and-forth battle early, with Jaden and Austin both getting within 1 stroke of the lead at times in the front 9, but Ryan held his ground and after 9 holes had a 1-stroke lead over Austin, with Jaden another stroke back in third. Ryan would go -2 in the next 8 holes to sit at -27 with 1 hole to play. Austin started the back 9 slow with a bogey on 10, but birdies on 14, 16, and 17 would have him 1 stroke back with 1 hole to play. And meanwhile, Jaden would unfortunately cool off, shooting even par from holes 10 to 17 to fall 4 strokes back of the lead going into the final hole, where Ryan would take a par, but Austin was able to secure a birdie and send things to a playoff. And it would only take 1 playoff hole here, as Ryan was able to take it down on the first playoff hole for his first A-tier win since October of last year, becoming the MPO Canadian champion for 2025. Also want to give just a quick little shout out to Jaden and Thomas, who ended up finishing in third and I believe fifth respectively, but were able to get eagles on the par 5 18th hole at Hocoat, which is absolutely banana lands in my brain. That is so crazy to do. So huge shout out for pulling that off, leaving the tournament by giving the crowd a show. In the MP40 division, Elaine King held a 5-stroke lead over Julie Besson after the first round, increased the lead to 6 after round 2, and in the final round, she absolutely ran away from the field, going on to win by 16 strokes for her first win on Canadian soil since she won nationals in FPO back in 2015. Over in MP40, it was the Chris O'Zolin show all weekend long, as Oz would hold a 6-stroke lead over Philo Brathwaite after round 1, a 12-stroke lead after round 2, and after round 3 would go on to win by 15 strokes for the first national title of his career. Over in the top amateur divisions, Leah Dawn held a 3-stroke lead over Alyssa Saunders after round 1, with sister Sarah Dawn another 2 strokes back in third. Sean, you weren't kidding. There's Dawns everywhere. But after round 2, it was Sarah who was holding a 4-stroke lead over Leah, with Katana Taylor another 4 strokes back in third. The back and forth continued in the final round, as Leah would take down the win by 2 strokes over Sarah for her first win of the season, with Alyssa jumping back up onto the podium into third. Over in MA1, Ryan McWaters, Puddles, and Nate Framst were tied for the lead after round 1, with Matt Prees, Ethan Eckenstein, Zachary Broussard, and Esteban Sabellos all tied for third, only 1 stroke off of the lead. The leaderboard got spread out a little more in round 2, though, as Ethan finished the round with a 1-stroke lead over Ryan, with Nate another 2 strokes back in third. The final round saw Nate turn things into high gear, though, as he would be the only competitor in the division to shoot under par from Cedar Creek Golds, finishing with a 10.24 rated -4 and pulling away from the field for a 5-stroke win, with Ryan and Ethan finishing in a tie for second place. Some quick shout-outs to other division winners as well. Matt Peckham from Charlotte, North Carolina wins by 9 strokes in MP50. Brian Grant from Toronto takes the win by 6 strokes in MP60. Adam Shepherdley from Toronto wins by 7 strokes in MA40 and shot an absolutely insane 1040 rated -11 in round 2, a course record from Blues at Cedar Creek from what I've heard. So huge shout out to Adam there. LA Tuck from Guelph, Ontario wins FA40 in a playoff against Alexa Zool, and both competitors were 15 strokes ahead of third place, just separating themselves from the field. Pascal Langley from Terrebonne, Quebec, wins by 2 in MA50. Don Pengele from Pakenham, Ontario, takes the win by 4 strokes in FA50. John McLeod from Ancaster, Ontario, wins by 13 strokes in MA60. The legendary Jane Anderson Renton from Brampton, Ontario, White Spruce, takes the win by 21 strokes in FA60, her 4th straight national title. Claude Sagan from Pender Island, BC, wins in MA70 by 6 strokes. Mike Pelly from Brampton, Ontario, White Spruce, takes home the 2-stroke win in MA2. Kate Ernwine from Cambridge, Ontario, wins by 1 stroke in FA2. Judah Hawks from Langley, BC, wins by 3 strokes in MJ15 and average 963 for the event in MJ15. That's so crazy. Awesome battle there. Brooklyn Okrafka from Paris, Ontario, wins by a casual 67 strokes in FJ15. Jackson Moorer from Littleton, Colorado, wins by 15 strokes in MJ12 and average 954 for the event. Goodness gracious, these kids are so good. And last but not least, Jolene Ramanoskis from Abbotsford, BC, wins in FJ12, averaging 60 points above her rating for the event. Huge congratulations to all of the 2025 Canadian national champions. It was a huge success out at Hope Goat, Newcastle, Cedar Creek, and Project 15. I had so much fun. I hope everybody had so much fun. But Shawnee G, let's throw it over to you for some of your thoughts from the Canadian Championships.
To put in perspective how insane the 11 aces at the Sandy Hollow Open was, this had 500 players, the best from all over the country, and a few coming up from the States. We had Jakub Semerod from Czechia, and we had 3 aces.
And there was an extra round too.
Yeah, 3 aces. Amazing aces, all of them. Raphael Hebert nailed a whole 9 reds at Cedar Creek and got it on video.
So cool.
Well done. Leslie Jolly, hole 4 whites at Hope Goat. That's a sick one. I like that one.
That's a really sick ace.
Yeah, that's a good one. Normand Bergeron got hole 5 reds at Newcastle. That's the one with the beehive and the tree in the middle. Very, very nice, very clean ace. And if I recall, all the aces win them a pair of Vessi shoes as a sponsor. That's correct. Super sick. Congrats to all of them. Also, I want to give an extra shout out to Adam Shepherdly. In addition to shooting that amazing 1040 rated -11 that you mentioned, he also eagled the par 4 616 foot hole 12 blues at Cedar Creek. I have no idea how that's possible. That is incredible.
I'm going to assume that it was a throw in, but so sick to get the unless Adam Shepherdly sneakily has 600 feet of power, which correct me if I'm wrong, Adam, if you're listening to this, but I'm going to go out on a limb and assume it was a throw in.
Yeah, what an incredible achievement on that hole. I would be curious if any other player did that during the tournament. I'll have to have a look and see, but I can't imagine that too many people did. And Ryan Monn, one extra little shout out. He was the first American or non-Canadian MPO winner of Canadian Nationals since Nate Sexton took it down in 2019. We've had a lot more American winners on the FPO side than I think we have recently in the MPO side. And so we're just going to have to come back next year and take it down at Grand Prairie and keep that title in the country again. I wish I got to see more of the action out there, but I was, working the thing and doing all the stuff. But like, oh man, it was I had so much fun doing the work and talking to people spectating and the players and just random people showing up at Hope Goat being like, what is this disc golf thing? And they're like, yeah, oh, it's really cool. And whoa, they can throw really far. And it was super cool to see the people get exposure to it. The glowy event was the best glowy I think that Canada has ever seen. Shout out to Disc in the Dark, who set up string light fairways across the full 18-hole glowy course. Super, super cool. I think there were a couple aces during glowies. I think Paige got an ace.
Yeah, big shocker. Tobin Isaac was filming a video and just happened to film one. I'm not sure exactly who hit it because it is pitch black. All you can see is the lights. But shout out to Tobin for catching somebody's ace on film.
And then, as if that wasn't perfect enough, the night the tournament ended, there was the Northern Lights coming out over the course to give a light show. Just absolutely, absolutely incredible. What an amazing event this was. Kudos to all of the winners, all of the competitors. Thanks again to all of my amazing volunteers. You knocked it out of the park and made this an incredibly successful event. And I can't wait for next year.
A huge shout out to everybody on the tournament team, everybody that had a hand in making this event a huge success. It was amazing fun all weekend long. I saw so many people out having a blast on the course. And Sean, you set it up perfectly for moving on to our next topic, because Nate Sexton was the last MPO winner of Canadian Nationals in 2019. Well, the winner of the FPO side of that event was none other than, at the time, Kristen Tatar, now Kristen Lott. And we are going to move on to a little bit of disc golf news. Big news in the general disc golf world, in the Pro Tour world. Kristen Lott has effectively retired from the Pro Tour. She put out a post on her Instagram page announcing that, and I'm going to just search it up here quickly to get the exact wording of it, but announcing that she is going to end her season, which isn't a big shocker. People had seen her withdraw from Throw Pink already and kind of assumed that her season was going to be done. But in the wording from her Instagram post, I have decided to end my season for this year and not begin another one next year, with no conclusive plans beyond that. So who knows what we're going to see from Kristen Lott going forward. Arguably the greatest women's player ever in this sport. Which Sean's given me, for those that aren't watching on YouTube, Sean's given me a little head shake. It can definitely be argued. I think, me personally, I think Kristen had a more dominant peak than anybody ever has, but the longevity and overall numbers of things will, if she's leaving the sport now, will hurt her argument in that fact. But either way, one of the greatest FPO players of all time, undoubtedly, and leaving the sport early, it seems. Now, we only know that that's for this year, and at least right now, next season, she could come back after that. Hopefully, we still see, maybe she just plays some European Pro Tour. They've got the Prodigy Pro Tour and the European, I think it's just DGPT Europe. They run some events over there. Plus, obviously, the main DGPT will swing through Europe in the summer next year. So maybe she plays there and just avoids actually the traveling side of things. We really don't know where this is going to take things. It's that's all we really got from Kristen on her Instagram page. So very curious to see what things have in store for Kristen. But Sean, let's throw it over to you and hear some of your thoughts on this.
I think she is just trying to really sandbag the local Tallinn random doubles league that goes down. Everybody knows every second Tuesday of the month from, like May to September. And it was just really interfering with her ability to really, really take that down. I would be laughing my butt off if Silverlot was like, you know what? I love you, my dear. I'm going on tour still. I'll see you in October. But it's really going to, I wonder how it's going to affect his role as her caddy, his most prominent result so far to date. I think Kristen obviously is in the conversation for the top 4 players, but I mean Paige, Elaine, Val Jenkins, Juliana Korver. I think their careers, certainly Paige, still, if this is the end of Kristen's primary career, I think they still come out on top as the GOAT. I'm curious what this does for Estonian disc golf in general. They have effectively built the Estonian disc golf brand like around Kristen. All of the signage for the European Disc Golf Festival had basically her face on it. It wasn't about Silver. It wasn't about friend of the show, Albert Tom. This was the Kristen show. And, maybe now that she's got her clothing brand and it seems to be doing well from what I can tell and from what I've heard, there were lots of people wearing the shirts and stuff in Europe on that I could see on coverage in the galleries. So maybe that's going to be enough and she can focus on that more and focus on, just being a mom who is present and not gone for 9 months of the year. Like that has got to be really, really tough. Obviously we wish her well, and I'm excited to see what this does for the FPO field. Silva must be like, oh yeah, oh thank you. My odds have just gone way up. The whole field must be like, okay, cool. Now there's one less really, really tough competitor to have to take down week after week. There's one more spot, presumably, that has opened up in the Tour Championship and Throw Pink that won't be used. So somebody else is going to get a shot at the big show. Yeah, it's interesting. I think people saw this coming. But it's shocking, but not surprising. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I would say that I saw the end of this season coming. I didn't think that she was going to come back this year, even for Throw Pink or the Tour Championship. But I didn't see a full pseudo retirement announcement. Basically, I mean, she's all but saying that she's retired essentially in this post. I believe she's 33 years old. So if she takes next year off, she's coming back at 35 years old. We saw Owen win the world title at 45 years old. So it's not saying that she couldn't come back and still play really well. But she is getting into the 30s, and there's a lot of young players that are getting better and coming into the mix as well. So yes, I agree like Rebecca Dawn, absolutely. Who very much looking forward to see how she can do at the end of this year and going into next season, when she'll have probably a full season on the Pro Tour next year, I'm going to assume. But we'll see how that goes. But yeah,
my understanding is, she is going on tour full time next year.
Nice.
And what I'm curious is, not to diverge away too much from the Kristen stuff, but right now Rebecca is on just sponsored level from Innova. She gets fundraiser discs. They're
basically an ambassador
discs, and listeners of Miss Mando should pick them up. Innova needs to step up and back up that money train dump truck, to her front door and just shovel cash at her, because she has earned it. She has been on coverage. She has been everywhere. She is absolutely crushing it. And she is the hot prospect that is not really signed to like a good team sponsorship. She's on the basic level Innova team. Basically like maybe one step above Street Team, or maybe exactly like Street Team.
I think that's exactly what she is. I think she's basically like an ambassador. She doesn't get paid by Innova.
Nope.
She just gets, the disc allotment and some fundraiser stuff.
Yeah.
But it'll be
Come on,
interesting.
Innova.
And
Step up.
I heard
Give the girl the cash.
I heard, because I'm a real life journalist now. I heard through some inside sources who will remain nameless, but are pro players, and I trust their sort of speculation and opinion. But I heard about the potential of maybe a Rebecca Dawn to MVP in the offseason, which would be incredibly cool to see. If that were the case, this is all speculation. This is not based on fact. This is a person that I talked to at the event who, like I said, is a pro, and I trust their insight on things. But still is just speculation. I think that would be really cool to see her go to MVP. Not only do I like MVP and throw a lot of MVP, so for me, that would be cool. But I think that would automatically make her the number 2 FPO player on MVP next to Silva Saarinen, which would be huge for her. I could also, see from what I understand and what I've heard is that she would love to stay with Innova, but Innova also has a loaded FPO team. There are a lot of names that would be ahead of her in terms of getting promo and stuff like that. Discraft is something I could also see as well, but again, a loaded FPO team.
I could see maybe DGA though. There's
It'd be DGA.
There's Katrina, and I can't think of any other DGA FPO, and she's got a lot of friends on DGA, so I can see that. But either way, she has got to be one of the top hot prospects for let's call it the 2026 draft next year, and
without a doubt.
I'll be over at the MVP Open. Maybe I'll just have to keep my ear to the ground and see what I can find out and dig up for the next show. She's going to be there.
Keep your ears and eyes open. Will be very interesting to see either way. I'm excited to see what Rebecca can do. She has proved herself this year. She is pretty much undoubtedly going to win DGPT Rookie of the Year. She still has a chance to win PDGA Rookie of the Year. She's currently in second behind Ida Letamaki, who got a ton of points from Worlds. Yeah, PDGA Rookie of the Year and DGPT Rookie of the Year are two different things. And Rebecca, I believe, is in number 1 in the DGPT rankings, and she's ahead of somebody from Europe who isn't coming over to play. It might even be Ida. And then in the PDGA Rookie of the Year standings, which goes off PDGA points, I believe, she's second place next to Ida, who obviously got a ton of points for finishing second at the World Championships. But Rebecca could still pull it off there. But
big point potentials at
absolutely
at the last 2 events of the season, which are playoffs.
Huge. And then if Rebecca's able to make it into the Pro Tour Championship, there's that as well. GMC MVP throw pink to end the year. There's lots of opportunities. So Rebecca could still take down both of them. But back over to Kristen Lott, I just wanted to point out some stats just for people to think about, and maybe you to think about, Sean, and when you're thinking about like the GOAT conversation. Obviously, when you look at wins, and so this is courtesy of Stat Mando, this is career, majors, and elite series stats all time. So elite series events and majors combined. Paige Pierce is by far and away number 1 in wins. She has 68 wins. Val Jenkins, 45. Katrina Allen, 38. Des Redding, 37. And then Kristen Lott at 27. She's also by far and away the leader in podiums, top 10s, top 20s, all of that. But all of that being said, Paige, 198 starts. Val Jenkins, 148. Katrina Allen, 200. Des Redding, 126. Kristen Lott, only 70. only 70 starts in Elite Series and major events. When you look at just in those top 5 players, you look at average place, Kristen has actually Val Jenkins has the best with a 2.85 average finish. Kristen has the second at 3.74, and Paige Pierce 5.09 average finish. So about 1.2 better for Kristen. And if you look at win percentage, Kristen has a win percentage. She is second all time. First all time is Marie Elsner, who has 2 wins in 2 starts. So if you exclude that and look at people who have more than 2 starts, Kristen is number 1. Win percentage 38.5. Ahead of Paige, 34.3. Also has a higher podium percentage, 74 to Paige's 62. Higher top 10 percentage, higher top 20 percentage, and has made more money in that time and a lot more money as the winner as well. So there's dominance for both. Obviously, like I said earlier, I think Kristen reached the highest peak of any FPO player ever, where she was so much more dominant than anybody else in the field. But Paige has the longevity of having basically a complete full decade of being the number 1 player. So I think there can be arguments on both sides for sure, but we are now going to move on over to some Pro Tour recaps, and only one recap to go through in this episode, and that is the Discraft Great Lakes Open, aka DGLO, being hosted down in Milford, Michigan on the infamous toboggan course, one of the most what's the word I'm looking for? The course with the most elevation change is what I'm looking to say. Just hills for days out at Toboggan. And we had on the FPO side, Big Money Missy living up to her name and taking down DGLO by 1 stroke over Silva Saarinen, who shot an insane 10:32 rated final round. She was on the, I believe, was it chase card? Yeah, she was on the chase card. Started the final round 9 strokes back of the lead, which was Holland Hanley going into the round, and finished the final round only 1 stroke back of the lead and 1 stroke ahead of Holland Hanley. Just an absolute blistering hot round from Silva Saarinen. But Missy Gannon was able to shoot neg 4 in the final round to hold on to the 1 stroke win. Her, I believe, and I can pull this up real quickly, I believe this is her 3rd win of the season, including a major. I think she has a major, 1 other Pro Tour, and now this one. And Stat Mando, why are your stuff all jumbled up? I'll have to look this up. 2025 Pro Tour. That's MPO, FPO. Here we go. Hope everybody listening just enjoys my little bit of rambling here. Yeah, Missy Gannon, 3 wins this season, and that is including the major. She won USW DGC? Is that what she won, or was that last year? I don't even remember now.
You won Champions Cup this year.
Champions Cup she won this year. Correct. Thank you, Shawnee G. What would I do without you? Missy Gannon takes it down for her 3rd win of the year. The FPO Player of the Year race is absolutely mental. There's like 5 different players who could realistically end up winning the award, depending on how the last stretch of the season here goes. But over on the MPO side of the event, it's a DGPT Plus event, so it's Gannon Burr taking it down once again. He went into the final round 2 strokes back of the leader, Calvin Heimberg, but wins by 1 stroke over Ricky Wysocki, Jake Hebenheimer, and Calvin Heimberg, who all finished tied for 2nd. And speaking of Gannon, we didn't mention this in the disc golf news segment. Gannon Burr also officially now tied for the highest rated player of all time, 1062, which matches Paul Macbeth's career high. And he's going to have one more ratings update this year, I believe, where he could possibly get it done. But based on the events that are going to be coming off of his profile from last year, it's going to be tough. He's going to have to shoot real hot to finish the year. But Gannonburg takes it down again, and that, I believe, gives Gannon, I'll pull up the MPO. Is that his 7th win now? That is his 6th win of the season so far. 11 podiums. He has an average place this year of 3.88, which is even better somehow than his performance last season when he had one of the best seasons of all time. So Gannon looking to end the season on a hot note like he did last year, and he takes down DGLO. Shawnee G, anything from you? Any thoughts from you on DGLO from this year?
I'm not a huge fan of the toboggan course. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. It's like, okay, I got it. You got hills. Fine. This was a little bit of a preview, I guess, for next year's Worlds, which will be held there on toboggan and at a modified green locust or black locust green course in the same park. I like black locust a lot better than I like DGLO, and I'm very excited for that. I mean, Gannonburg made it boring. Everybody else tried to make it interesting, and it was almost interesting. It was the closest we have had to interesting in quite a while in MPO. And Silva really tried to make it interesting. She pushed, and that was amazing to see. Yeah, really fantastic round for her. And really a great time to be sort of peaking, I would say, coming into the playoff events. Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't really watch this one because we were out at the 5F and at Alexander Hamilton. And so, that was a better use of my time, frankly.
Yeah, I had a great weekend out at Kemptville and seeing I am the ALEXANDER, seeing Hamilton on stage. So I did not pay much attention to this tournament as well, I will admit. I like the toboggan course. I don't mind it. I've never been out there, but I do know a lot of people that like to go down and play this event on the amateur side and walk around and watch the pros. And I've heard really good things about DGLO from them as well. Although I believe DGLO was was the course that Gannon Burr gave like an F in his course rankings video that he did earlier this year. So Gannon also agrees with you, Shawnee G, but I will be interested to see that second course that they use for Worlds next year. Hopefully that brings a bit of a better balance to the event with toboggan. But we are going to move on to some previews now, and we've got upcoming 2 DGPT playoff events, the 2 DGPT playoff events for the year, starting with the Green Mountain Championship out in Jeffersonville, Vermont, of course, at Smuggler's Notch Resort, and the 2 courses that they have out there. Last year, Gannon Burr won by 7 strokes on the MPO side, and Kristen Latt beat Silva Saarinen in a playoff, it looks like here. But no Kristen this year, so maybe it'll be Silva's time to shine. There's also some changes this year for the playoff format going into the DGPT Championship. Field sizes are going to remain the same, 32 MPO and 20 FPO, but the world standings cut line is now the top 28 for MPO, top 18 for FPO. The last 4 spots are going to be awarded through these playoffs. So starting at GMC, players must be ranked in the top 100 in MPO or top 50 in FPO after Pro Worlds to qualify for the event. And players who finish in the top 8 in MPO or top 4 in FPO, but are not already in the top 28 or 16 for MPO and FPO, will advance to the MVP Open. So you could be as low down in the standings as possible, but if you play the event and you play well, you can earn a spot to move on in the next stage of the playoffs. And then at MVP, the top 4 MPO and 2 FPO event finishers outside of the already qualified players from the world standings will also get in. So really cool change that they did here. I really love it. Gives some players that might not have had the best season, or maybe were away for a bit for injury and didn't play as many events, gives them a chance to step up at the last minute and get a qualification in. What's really going to be interesting is, so I said, what was it, top 28 on the MPO side. Oh, and look, DGPT, you're so nice. You even put the cut line right on your standings. So a couple players outside of the cut line who will be looking to have good performances here to make it over to MVP and then potentially to the Pro Tour Championship. Andrew Presnell, Silas Schultz, Ben Calloway, Maury Villman, Matty O, who Matty O plays pretty darn good down the stretch, especially at the MVP Open. Paul Ulibarri, Paul Kranz, Laurie Lettinen. I think he will be very interesting to watch at these upcoming events. He's sitting in 38th, but could definitely get in. Yes, and even in Kevin Jones, Nico LaCastro, friend of the show, Jaden Rye, Jake Hebenheimer, who played really good at DGLO. Lots of names outside of the cut line that could potentially move on in the playoffs if they play well at GMC. Over on the FPO side, some names that could be looking to make a jump up into MVP and potentially the Pro Tour Championship with some good play. Sitting right on the cut line right now, number 20, Sophia Dunica. Can finish with a nice performance and get in. There's also Lisa Fakis, and Alexis Monahano before we get to Rebecca Dawn in 23rd. Also looking for a hot finish to the season to potentially get in to MVP and then the Pro Tour Championship. Chantel Badinsky is down in 28th. We're also got Jen Allen in 26th, Raven Klein in 24th. Ida Letamaki in 31st, although I don't think she's coming over to play the end of the year. Haley King, 35th. I'm not sure if she's signed up to play anymore, but lots of names that are outside of the cut line that are looking to have some good performances here at GMC to make it in. And it's such a beautiful property. Both courses are great to watch. I love GMC every single year. So it is going to be very interesting to watch. Shawnee G, let's throw it over to you. Let's hear some of your thoughts. What are you looking forward to from GMC?
I mean, this is one of the premier events on tour, has been for a little while now. Fox and Brewster, both extremely, extremely fun courses. One of the best ones to watch. Interesting contrast to DGLO, which is the opposite of that. Man, I'm not going to be able to see much of it because I'm going to be, for half of it, I'm going to be basically over at Maple Hill, because I'm heading down there on Saturday. But I'm curious to see if any of this younger talent, or like Maury Villman, or, like your Sullivan Tiptons. Jaden Rye, friend of the show, has been popping off. I could see him making a pretty big push. I'm very curious to see if it's just going to be the boring Gannon Burr show, or can we see a nice end of year push by some of these players that are sort of down around the bubble. Yeah, how good would it be if Sophia popped up and made that cut? That would be super sick. I don't know. Anything can happen in a 4-round tournament. Unfortunately, on the MPO, it's usually Gannon Burr just walks away with it. But on the FPO side, with Kristen gone, I'd say the door has been opened a little bit more for others, and let's see how it goes.
Definitely. And Kristen is still currently sitting in 6th in the standings. So if she is not going to be playing, That means that I guess technically Sophia Dunica is in the cut line right now, because if you take Kristen out of that, that bumps Sophia up. So technically right now, Sophia Dunica in the Pro Tour Championship. Rebecca Dawn only, I think, 3 spots out then, that would make her. So very, very interested to see what happens down the stretch here. And Shawnee G, you mentioned it, so let's throw it back over to you. The next playoff event that will be coming up after GMC, and you'll be there on site. Let's hear about it.
I love the MVP Open. This is going to be my 4th year on site, 2nd year as the official spotter on my beloved hole 14, where Matty got his ace. Of course, this year again, if any player gets an ace on that hole, we're going to do another giveaway. Fingers crossed. It was super sick last year. I can't wait for it again this year. I mean, one of the most storied tournaments, one of the most storied properties. There's been some interesting changes this year to the course. For example, hole 9 for the FPO, the tee used to be really close to the hole 8 basket, which was really loud because of the 8 holes. They've now, a couple years ago, they built a new fairway for hole 9 goals. They've now moved the tee box for 9 over to the fairway of 9 goal, which makes so much more sense. It's a much more, that makes so much sense. It's basically a shorter layout on the goals. That's good. They've also added a second basket position for FPO on 17, and on 18 for 2 of the rounds. The women are going to be throwing the gold layout with par 5. Presumably the final round will be the long one, and they don't usually throw from down in like this ditch area. It is a much harder layout. They get an extra stroke to do it. That's going to be super fun to see. Hole 1 is longer for both divisions. The long basket, I think it's called the B position, the one where you have to go through the triple Mando chipmunk gate. It has been pushed farther back on the green, adding another 30 or 40 feet to the hole. For the MPO, hole 17 is an extra 100 feet longer. They pushed the tee box up on the ridge way back. And now there's this tiny gap that they have to hit 80 feet off the tee. And then highs are way down around the corner to that sort of elevated basket. I think it's going to be much harder. And I think we're going to see some tree hits on that one. Adds so much more risk on that hole. A couple other little minor tweaks here and there we don't need to worry about. It's going to be great. I'm super excited. The day before the tournament starts, they're doing disc golf at the ballpark for their local, I don't know if it's a AAA team at Polar Park. They're going to have tech disc on the Jumbotron, which is super cool. And then a putting course around the ballpark. I don't know. It's gonna be sick. There's gonna be a thing on Friday night when they do the East Coast Metal Roofing long distance CTP. They're also bringing, I think, one of the disc throwing robots out, and you can buy one of the discs. You can put it. You can tell them, okay, I want this degree angle, this speed, and it will launch your disc and see if you can get a CTP as well. I always say, if you spectate one event, make it the MVP Open, because it is so much fun. And there have been so many great victories over the years. I was there for Simon's win. I was there for Matty O's win. I was there for James Proctor's win. And I was there for Natalie Ryan, who took it down in a playoff. I was there for Missy Gannon, and Haley King. There is no safe lead at Maple Hill. there are so many point swings coming down the final 9. And like they cannot take any lead for granted. And that, I think, makes it such a fantastic tournament. I am so excited to see. And I just got a message from Mr. Robbie Holden that says that his laptop has restarted. So that's not great. I'm just going to keep talking. I don't know if he's going to come back in or not. But if he doesn't, man, you definitely want to watch the MVP Open on coverage not this weekend, but next weekend. And you're probably going to see me out there on hole 14. Going to have my Miss Mando hat. I got a brand new white spruce hat that I'm going to be rocking. And man, it is going to be a blast. But see, Robbie is it looks like Robbie is joining us for the end of the show. Robbie, you're back.
I need a new laptop, man. I don't know why it does this sometimes. It just randomly just restarted in the middle of you talking there. But yeah.
Tried to save you from me talking.
I know, really. It was that's what it was. It was actually you talking for so long made my laptop crash.
That's just science. I was just saying how much fun this is. It is the must-watch show of the year. No lead is safe coming down the home stretch. Chase card winners take it down. I cannot wait. Robbie, what do you think about MVP Open?
I can't wait. It's one of my favorite events of the year to watch. I am jealous that you will be down there sometime soon. Maybe next year I'll actually be able to make it out to the event in person. I would love to do that, but it's going to be so much fun to watch. It's an event that every single year I just am amped to watch live, and I believe I'll have my stepbrother's wedding on the Friday of that event, I believe, and then nothing going on Saturday and Sunday. So I will be able to tune into DGN and watch all of it go down. Maybe see my boy Shawnee G flagging in an ace somewhere out there on the course. We would love to see that and do another giveaway. But yeah, I'm pumped. MVP Open, it's the best.
There is no reason why you can't watch it during the wedding.
That's true.
I'm just saying. I'm putting it out there.
That's true. That's true. Maybe round 2 Friday night. I'll just have my phone open with DGN up as I'm hiding in a corner somewhere. We'll see how it goes. But either way, Saturday and Sunday, I'll definitely be watching and cannot wait to check that out. Shawnee G, anything else from you before we end this episode?
I don't think so. I think we're good to go.
That was a jam-packed show. Canadian Nationals extravaganza, plus a little bit else. So a little bit of other stuff mixed in there as well. Man, I'm just still jonesing off of the 5 days that I had it at Nationals. I don't know if you were there for more. I think you got up there Wednesday with me as well. But either way, a lot of fun. And that is going to do it for us here on Missed Mando. Good luck, everybody, at events coming up. I believe we've got, I know this coming weekend is the legendary OD Memorial at Ficklewood, a legendary unsanctioned tournament that I have heard lots about. Are you going to be there, Shawnee G?
Nope, I am skipping it this year. Unfortunately, I'm going to be on the road driving to Maple Hill.
Nice. Well, I'd say that's a good reason to skip out. But good luck to everybody there. Chain Link Conservation Series at Kelso coming up in 2 weeks. Northern Ontario Championship. A whole bunch of stuff going on. So good luck to everybody wherever you are competing. And until the next time, we'll see you on the course.